Hello, hello. Earth signs, had to check my notes. Earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. This is your reading for the full moon in Capricorn. Capricorns is in your sign. Love that. This is the full moon reading for July 21st. If you're watching it in and around that time, this is a good time to hear that message. If you're finding this later, maybe this message is for you too. Anyway, so this message is going to be a mix of oracle card pull and just channeled stuff. If you're new to my world, you'll know that you won't know. If you've been around in my world, you'd know. If you're new, then you won't know that I am a psychic channel. So I do a lot of just intuitive channeling comes through. I my guides are around, they're chatting with me. I'm pulling from the card, just seeing what comes through in that. So it's a little bit of a mix of everything. I don't read from a book or anything like that. I'm not going to pull cards and read from a book, but I am using a Moonology deck. I love using this one around full and new moon, just like the moon energy. I'll link this in the description if you want to grab it for yourself as well. It's one of my favorite decks. So this full moon happening is pretty significant because it is the second full moon in Capricorn happening back to back, which is pretty rare. So Capricorns and all earth signs are going to be experiencing this energy. And it's the energy that I'm getting around this full moon happening back to back is this extra boost. You're probably experiencing a lot of things that you were about a month ago in the last full moon, but here there might be more of a more intensity to them. So think about what was happening about a month ago, reflect on what's happening now for you, and let's see what's coming through for you. Okay. Initially, what's coming through for earth signs, of course, is the guys are just get outside more. And I feel too, they're saying get outside under this moon. Get outside tonight, or not tonight, but it depends when you're listening to this, but get outside under this moon and soak it in. Yeah. Okay. Let's see if there's anything else coming through before I hit my cards. No. Okay. Okay, cool. So the first card we have is a time to give rather than take. I feel this is a time, what's really coming through for me is around a time to give rather than take is yeah, it's not the conventional it's a time to serve others. Maybe that does resonate for you and that's totally fine. This is a collective reading, so take what resonates, leave what doesn't. But what's really coming through is it's a time to give around this full moon. As you may know, then full moons are more of a releasing energy. We're letting things go, things are being illuminated for us to release, that kind of thing. And so I feel this is what this card is saying is it's a time to give to the moon, to the earth, what you're desiring to release. They're showing me kind of a visual of you laying it down, kind of saying I've had this heavy feeling of whatever, frustration, or I feel I'm so done with this pattern of whatever I've been doing, right? And they're saying and you just almost give it as an offering. You're just I'm ready to give this up. And I feel what this is when we're on a journey of personal growth, we're on a journey of just becoming a better version of ourselves and just spiritual growth, whatever it is for you, it really requires us to release old versions of ourselves and welcome in new versions, right? And for some of us, this just happens naturally along the way, where we're just kind of wow, I've really grown. Wow. I like all these things. But other times it requires us to have more intentionality with this, to actually, say I'm going to release this, to actually intentionally release something. And I feel sometimes with releasing old versions of ourselves, patterns, fears, whatever, there can be a bit of a grieving process. We can have so much compassion for the version of ourselves who got us to where we are today, for the version of ourselves who didn't know any better when she was doing something, or if you're he or she, whoever's listening to this. But I feel what's really coming through here is during this full moon, allowing your releasing to be more intentional. Maybe you're going to get out a journal, like they're showing me, like, get out a journal and write down like 10 things or whatever that you're like, I'm ready to intentionally release this. I'm ready to intentionally release, like, you know, the pattern of self-sabotaging and procrastination, or like, I'm ready to release this lack energy that I've been feeling and acting with. I'm ready to release this resentment I have towards this thing I did in the past, or this thing someone else did to me. Like, what are 10 things you're like intentionally ready to release? And you can even like take this piece of paper and like burn it and like kind of have a ritual with it if you want to. But yeah, like I feel like the message really coming through is around a time to give rather than take, is really around like intentionally giving up the things that are no longer serving you in order to claim what you do want, right? Your next card is communication is key. I feel like communication was a big theme. I think it was coming up for fire signs. So if you also have some fire energy in your chart, this might kind of be some overlap with you, but I feel like there's definitely like a communication piece coming in for a lot of people during this time. I feel like there's an illumination during this full moon on relationships for a lot of people, especially the fire signs that really came through. And I feel like what this is really coming down to is like communication and being able to express what you desire. And I feel like this can be with a relationship, but it could be without. Like, I feel like for some of you, it's really like in the process of releasing, you have to also have, you know, clarity on what you're desiring. And communication doesn't always have to be like between you and another person. This could be between you and like your spirit guides. It could be between you and the universe. And I feel like what this is really saying for you earth signs is like, communicate what you want and communicate what you don't want, what you're ready to let go of. And this could be like maybe your practice for this full moon when you're like doing some releasing work is that you're just verbally saying out loud, like, I am done procrastinating. I am done holding anger in my heart towards this person. I am ready to release this thing. I am ready to call in this other thing. Like, maybe the communication that's really coming through for you is like verbally speaking out loud and verbally like saying to the universe, saying to yourself what you are releasing, what you're calling in. So last one for you is look at the bigger picture, full moon in Sagittarius. I feel like for this, I feel like, you know, we can look at the bigger pictures and like, you know, see that there's all happening for our highest good. But I feel like the message that's really coming through here is like, be willing to play the long game. That's what's coming through, is like, maybe there's something you've been like working on for a while. I feel like for a lot of you, there's like a project you've been working on, maybe at work, maybe a personal project, maybe you're renovating your house, whatever. And they're saying like, be willing to play the long game. Like, don't worry so much about instant results. And I feel like too, around like full moon and new moon, I know this was true for me in the beginning of my like spiritual journey and my journey, like learning about the lunar cycle, was I would expect like immediate results from a lunar cycle. Like, I would be like, it's the new moon. Where's everything I'm manifesting? It's the full moon. Like, I'm just instantly releasing everything. And like, while these are really powerful portals and energies to play around with, it's not always instant. Sometimes it can be, sometimes we experience that quantum leap and like, that's amazing. But sometimes it's just like this subtle shift that then like, you know, sets things into motion. So can we be willing to play the long game? Can we be willing to like not need instant results from this full moon, not need to feel like we wake up tomorrow a completely different person? Like, if we do, that's amazing. But if not, can we trust that like things are setting into motion, momentum's going to be building, and like we're planting seeds for the future, for something to come, right? And we're willing to wait to reap the rewards of that. We're willing to see that too, that like lunar cycles, like we can look at them in like, you know, the 28-day kind of cycle, but equally they're 6-month cycles, right? So when we have like the Capricorn new moon and then like, you know, we're waiting for a Capricorn full moon like way later and whatever, like we're seeing like there's a 6-month cycle where what we release now might take like, you know, 6 months or 3 months or whatever for us to really see the like rewards of that, if that makes sense. So be willing to play the long game, look at the bigger picture, realize that, yeah, like it's kind of just like realize that you get to be patient, you get to enjoy the journey along the way. So hopefully that resonates for you. If it does, if you felt like this message just was for you, I would love for you to drop a comment. Let me know what really landed the most for you. I appreciate, as a newer YouTuber, anyone who subscribes, comments, engage with my stuff. Send me a message on Instagram, which I'll link also in the description. Let me know that you listen to this. I love to hear from you guys. I love to make connections. Yeah, thank you for listening. Subscribe, comment, check out the description if you want to connect with me further, or check out the deck that I use. I always link my stuff that I use in there for you if you like it. And yeah, like I said, check out the sun, moon, and rising if it's in a different element for you. And I will have more videos coming down the line with, you know, different lunar cycles, or just like I'm maybe going to be making some videos for, you know, ahead this week or this month, energy updates, that kind of thing. So if you love channeled messages, you love card pulls, that kind of thing, that is what you can expect from me on this channel. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you next time.